Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us. Welcome back, and delighted to have in the studio with us today Rebecca Bender and Treva Kuyper. Treva's with the Loft, and Rebecca, well, she has a great ministry and outreach, and she is a human trafficking survivor. Wow. And thank you both for being here. And the reason you're here is for the big show.
The big show. Runway to Hope is this Friday night at 7 p.m. at Community Bible Church in Central Point, and it's open to the entire community. It's a free event to bring awareness to sex trafficking in our valley.
Wow. How big is this problem?
You know, human trafficking has an epidemic. It's surpassed the sale of guns in our country. It's second only to drugs. We have on average around 100,000 to 300,000 trafficked children in the United States every year. 87% of those are American citizens. So anytime you have any area where there's vulnerable youth, then you're going to have traffickers.
Well, I know Southern Oregon's a hub because of I-5. We're hearing unbelievable statistics. And can you just briefly share with us your personal story, Rebecca, because you were involved in it, and thank God you're out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God I'm out. He's the one that got me out. But, you know, as a human trafficking expert, we have to say that there's many places that are hubs. So I think that Oregon is not even ranked in number 10. So sometimes the sensationalized numbers can instill fear in us that we don't need, right? God is not a God of fear. So we have to be realistic with what's taking place. I think last year there was 459 trafficked children in Portland, and Medford and Grants Pass has shown up on Oregon Human Trafficking Task Force investigations as a transit point. So it is it's an interesting stop between Portland and San Francisco. So you're obviously, anytime you're going to have freeways you see off the I-5, you're going to get girls that are sold in those hotels typically. We just did a hotel training recently for all the hotelier groups in the Valley, helping them to understand and identify victims of human trafficking. So we do a lot of work with awareness and training nationally. May 12th, I get to speak with former President Jimmy Carter. I'll be sitting on that law enforcement panel at the World Summit in Atlanta. So I'm excited to be able to bring the expertise here to our local community and be able to finally, you know, get more involved and help the girls with the Loft and bring information to our valley.
How do they get out of it? Do they have a desire to get out? Can they get out without getting in trouble more?
Every situation is so different. It really depends on the girl and it depends on the trafficker. Some traffickers are much more volatile than others. They're called guerrilla pimps, and they use brute force, brutality, beatings, severe attacks in order to keep them under the control. And then there's other traffickers called Romeo pimps, and they use coercion and manipulation and lies and a lot of the similarities as a domestic violence survivor, so that power and control wheel. So it really depends on the trafficker, the type of tactics that he employs on his victims. Some girls are brainwashed to believe this is their boyfriend and they love him, and when you try to rescue them, it's like running out to grab a puppy in the freeway, right? And they're just scared, and they don't know what reality is. So helping to undo brainwash is a long process. It's a deprogramming, and it doesn't happen overnight. We know that the power of God can transform hearts and minds in seconds, but God doesn't always work that way. And so every girl is different. Every situation is different.
How long were you involved in it?
I was trafficked for nearly 6 years. Born and raised right here in Southern Oregon, went off to go to college. I was accepted at Oregon State University, and I met a guy at a party near campus that pretended to take interest in me and dated me for about 6 months, and then invited me to move in with him. And I thought, finally I met the man of my dreams. And he ended up being a trafficker.
Wow. Why did you, Treva, decide to partner with this?
We went to one of Rebecca's trainings about 1.5 years ago, and I can definitely confess to you that I knew nothing about sex trafficking and what an epidemic it is until I went to that training. I was blown over, and we were challenged to, you know, bring awareness. What event could you put on and bring awareness? And, you know, at the Loft, we fight for our teen girls. We want to open their eyes to the things in this world and how to navigate through life. So we decided to put on a fashion show, something that they love, that will bring them in. But we wanted to immediately get a hold of Rebecca to see if she could come and share her story and speak to the truth of, you know, being an expert, speak to the truth of sex trafficking and open the eyes to our girls. I think that a lot of times our teen girls have that and most people do, that mentality that it will never happen to them. And so we're constantly trying to pour truth into them to say, no, it could happen to you. God is amazing and he's huge and he will protect you, but there's evil in this world. And so we have to be aware, we have to be wise.
Who do you want to come to the fashion show? Because I think this is a great opportunity to use fashion to deliver a message, and hopefully girls will be more aware of what is luring out there.
We want everyone to come. We want parents, grandparents, teenagers, boys, girls. Our event is 13 and up, ages 13 and up, just because of the content. But we want to open eyes and bring awareness to everyone in our community. And that's why it's a free event. We want people to come. We want them to enjoy the fashion show. Rebecca has a line of t-shirts that she's created called Courage Tees. And so we have about 4 or 5 different vendors of clothing lines that we're going to show in the fashion show, but we're going to end the fashion show with her t-shirts. And we're just excited how the Lord has connected both of us, the Loft and Rebecca Bender Ministries. And the community needs to come, because yes, they can enjoy the fashion show and they can support what we're doing, but then also to learn and to grow and to see what can we do in the future to pray for these girls and to pray for our valley.
What do you say, Rebecca, to young girls that may not even understand what this is all about or not even be aware that it's an issue, but yet at the same time you want to warn them that it's there?
Yeah, misidentification happens often when we envision human trafficking according to the media that we've watched our whole lives, right? We think of this 9-year-old girl handcuffed to a radiator, shoved in a cargo ship, and that's it. Human trafficking looks very different in a first world developed country like America. And so I think that I want to help girls to understand that it's not the traditional, fit in the box kind of image that they have seen their whole lives on TV. And we have to make them aware of what it really looks like in America, just so that they can be prepared. We want them to be, wise as serpents. We have to know that there is evil in this world, like Treva said, and sometimes the day isn't getting better with the the nearing of Christ. And so it's just important. We talk about drugs, we talk about alcohol, we talk about bullying in schools, we talk about drunk driving. Why would we not talk about sex trafficking? And so I think it's important to know, you have to be careful about the guy you're dating is typically who the traffickers are.
I think that's the other thing too. I know there's great awareness now and growing awareness of this, which you have to be very pleased about, and even on a national level. I think we're waking up to this issue. Are you seeing states begin to do some legislative work that makes sense, where you can get a grip on this? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, 2 years ago, Oregon finally passed Senate Bill 673, which differentiated minors and adults for acts of prostitution. It raised Oregon from a D grade in efforts towards sex trafficking toward a B, which was finally passing. So we definitely have made some progress. There was Lobby Day just a couple weeks ago that helped to increase other issues in Oregon. And then we had, I believe, 11 bills that went to Senate this year. I was really honored to be invited to testify at the Senate Judiciary Committee in Washington, D.C., and I think 3 went through. So the JVTA and a couple others that are a little bit controversial, some borderline, but I think that all of us understand that no one wants no one wants children to be sold into sex trafficking, regardless of your political agenda or party. It's great to have a nonpartisan issue or bipartisan.
Boy, isn't it ever? But this is such an important one. And there's some great things happening in Southern Oregon to reach out and to minister to girls who are coming out of this. How hard is it to transition out?
With Christ, all things are possible. And I feel like without that specialized service that is really needed for victims, we continue to cut the trees off of the tree, but if we don't pull the root, it's never going to actually get better. We're just going to see different coping mechanisms. That's why specialized services for victims of this complex compound trauma is so important. We can't just put them in rehab or put them in a domestic violence shelter and hope that it gets better. There's many layers when it comes to this type of exploitation, and without that specialized care, we'll just continue cutting the leaves over and over and over again. So it's really important.
All right, well, this Friday night is an opportunity, and I would say youth pastors with young girls 13 and up, come. Parents, if you have a young girl in your home, have her bring her girlfriends and go. Everybody loves a fashion show, you know. And so tell us about it one more time. It's going to be at Community Bible Church this Friday.
This Friday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And it's in Central Point, and it's free. And we want to also mention our teen boys. We want them to come too. We want the guys to come. We want the dads to come. I've heard a few men say, "Oh, I don't need to go to that." Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. We want everyone to come. And we actually, in our fashion show, we have some teen guy models that are going to be modeling Gap. And we're very excited to show that, you know what, the boys can be concerned as well, and should be.
And be on the lookout.
And be on the lookout. That's right. So, yeah.
And I think it's really important to know, too, that, you know, boys are our future buyers. Boys are the demand, and if we don't start figuring out how we're going to raise our next generation of young men to be defenders and protectors of women and children, to understand and get them to understand the severity of even the small part they play, whether it's engaging in pornography or, you know, attending, unfortunately, strip clubs when they get 18 or 21, we sometimes don't even know the temptation that they're given when they're outside of our watch as parents. So it's really important as parents, especially with young boys, to come understand this issue so we can raise up a next generation of young men who are willing to defend and protect and stay on guard. Average age of buyer in America is 21-year-old boy is the average age of a buyer. So as much as we want to protect our girls, we have to be realistic to know that the demand is from men. And so it's important to go after both. We need to bring identification to both.
Boy,
Amen.
Stunning. All right, again, Friday night at 7 o'clock at the Community Bible Church in Central Point. It's free. Come on out. Rebecca's going to be there with her advice and testimony and products, T-shirts, and I guess you got all the rest of the stuff lined up and ready to go, all the other models.
We're ready.
You're ready.
We're ready.
You're ready. I just can't say enough about this. The awareness in Southern Oregon to me is so encouraging, and I know it's happening throughout the United States, but boy, this just seems to have come to life here in Southern Oregon with people now helping out with this issue. Rebecca, thank you. Thank you. You're going to go testify more. You'll be with former President Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, May 12th we'll be at the World Summit, get to be the survivor leader on panel there. It's exciting.
That's wonderful. And are other countries waking up to this?
Oh yeah, I mean there's lots of worldwide effort going on. We have lots of stuff going on in Israel right now. Actually, Tel Aviv has taken a big role in trying to combat sex trafficking. I just trained a group of 150 missionaries that are being deployed to Iraq to work with victims of ISIS refugees.
Wow.
So we have a lot of missionary groups that are really waking up to the issue and doing something on a worldwide level.
Wonderful. All right, thank you. Thank you, Treva. Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
You guys are great. All right, don't forget, it's Friday night, 7 o'clock, Community Bible Church in Central Point. We'll be right back.